Oiwa lay on a thin futon near the back room, staring at the ceiling. Her breath came shallow and uneven. Each time she inhaled, her chest tightened as if something were pressing down on it. Sweat dampened her hairline, though the air was cool. She had been ill since the birth of her child. The baby hadn't lived. Oiwa barely remembered the pain of labor now, only the hollow quiet that followed. Eamon sat near the doorway, sharpening his sword. The blade was well kept, though it was rarely used. Eamon had once been a samurai, sworn to a household that no longer existed. Since his dismissal, the sword had become more symbol than weapon. "Oiwa, the neighbors are talking again," he said without looking at her. She turned her head toward him. "About what?" "About the smell. About the noise," he replied. "I try to stay quiet. I'm sorry," she said. Eamon didn't answer. He focused on the blade. A sick wife was a burden. Yumi first appeared weeks later. She came with her parents to deliver medicine. They were merchants who lived nearby, well respected. Yumi carried the tray with both hands, eyes lowered, her steps measured and quiet. She was young, healthy, her skin was smooth. Her hair was thick and neatly arranged. Oiwa noticed immediately. Yumi knelt beside her and placed the cup near her hands. "My mother said this might help," she said softly, her voice practiced, polite. Oiwa thanked her and drank. The medicine was bitter, but it eased the tightness in her chest and pulled her briefly towards sleep. When Yumi rose to leave, her sleeve brushed Eamon's arm. It was an accident. Small, easily dismissed. Eamon didn't move away. He watched her longer than necessary. Oiwa saw it. After that, Yumi came often. She brought food wrapped neatly in cloth, fresh bandages, new medicine. She swept the floor and wiped the low tables. She spoke gently, never raising her voice, never complaining about the smell or the sickness. Oiwa told herself she was grateful. But she noticed how Eamon straightened when Yumi entered the room, how his posture changed, how he spoke more freely, how he laughed, softly at first, then without restraint. Once, Oiwa woke from sleep to the sound of voices in the front room. Eamon's voice was low. "She's getting worse." There was a pause before Yumi answered. "She needs rest," she said carefully, nothing more. Oiwa lay still, staring into the dark, listening to their breathing through the thin walls. The following night, Eamon returned home with a small paper packet hidden in his sleeve. He knelt beside Oiwa with a cup of liquid already poured. "A stronger medicine," he said, "from Yumi's family. They paid for it." Oiwa hesitated. The liquid was cloudy and sharp-smelling, unlike the others. She looked at him. "Thank you," she said, and drank. The pain came fast. Her throat burned as if scraped raw. Her stomach twisted violently. She screamed and dropped the cup. Thick dark vomit spilled onto the floor. Her vision blurred. Heat rushed through her face, then numbness. She dragged herself to the mirror. What stared back was wrong. One eye had begun to sag, pulling downward as if the flesh could no longer hold it. Her skin blistered and darkened. Clumps of hair came away in her hands, sticking to her fingers. She screamed for Eamon. He stood behind her, silent. She turned, crawling toward him, begging, her body barely responding. He drew his sword. "Now we both rest," he said. He struck her down. Her body was heavy when he dragged it across the floor. He didn't look at her face again. To hide what he had done, he disposed of her body and returned home before dawn. Yumi was waiting. She stopped when she saw the blood on his sleeves. She didn't ask any questions. Yumi stepped aside to let him pass. The door slid shut. The house felt different immediately. Not emptier, tighter. "I'll clean," Yumi said. She didn't look at the back room. Eamon nodded. He wiped his sword carefully before setting it down. That night, Yumi moved into the back room. The futon hadn't been changed. She lay down carefully. When she shifted onto her side, the mat sank behind her, warm where no body should have been. She kept her eyes open and didn't turn. By the third day, Yumi understood something was wrong. Hair appeared everywhere. Not strands, clumps, tangled in drawers. Wrapped around the legs of furniture, knotted into her sleeves when she dressed. She burned it, threw it away. When she washed her face, she felt fingers brush her cheek beneath the water. She gasped and jerked back. Her hands flew to her face, skin burning where she had been touched. Her reflection stared up at her from the basin. Slowly, the reflection lifted its hand. Yumi did not. The reflection's fingers pressed against its own cheek, sinking slightly into the flesh, as if testing its shape. Its eye twitched. Then it blinked. Yumi screamed and stumbled backward. When she looked again, the reflection mirrored her perfectly. She confronted Eamon once. "She's here," Yumi said. "I see her face." Eamon struck the wall hard enough to split the wood. "Do not bring her up." That night, Yumi dreamed she was standing still while someone combed her hair from behind. Each pull hurt. Each stroke dragged harder. When she woke, her scalp burned. Blood stained the pillow. The marriage was arranged quickly. Yumi's parents wanted order, respectability, silence. On the day of the ceremony, she felt pressure at her side, though no one stood there. She sat before the mirror and loosened her hair. Her reflection lifted its hand. Yumi didn't. The reflection's eye sagged, skin stretching downward as if melting. Yumi screamed. The lantern went out. Hands seized her shoulders from behind, not gentle, not hesitant. Fingers dug into her flesh, bruising instantly. She screamed. He burst in and swung blindly. The blade struck bone. The lantern flared back to life. Yumi lay twisted on the floor, her neck bent wrong, blood spreading fast. Behind her, Oiwa stood. Her body was swollen and ruined. Hair clung in patches to her skull. One eye hung low, trembling slightly. She looked at Eamon. Then she stepped forward. Eamon staggered back, breath tearing out of his chest. He raised his sword with shaking hands. "Stay back!" he screamed. Oiwa did not stop. Her feet dragged across the mats, leaving dark smears. The smell of rot and medicine filled the room. As she moved, her ruined eye slipped farther down her face, stretching the skin until it thinned and split. Her mouth opened. "I gave you everything," she said. Eamon swung. The blade passed through her shoulder and bit into the wall behind her. Wood split. The sword stuck fast. Oiwa reached for him. Her hand closed around his wrist. Her grip was crushing, cold, wet. He screamed as his bones ground together. His fingers bent backward until they snapped. The sword fell from his useless hand. Oiwa leaned in close. Her ruined eye brushed his cheek. "Look at me," she said. He tried to turn away. She forced his head back. Her face was inches from his. Her breath stank of poison and decay. The drooping eye finally tore free, hanging by a strip of flesh. Swinging between them, Eamon vomited and sobbed. Oiwa placed her hand against his chest. He felt her fingers press inward, not stabbing, sinking. His ribs cracked. He felt something give way inside him, something vital and soft. He screamed until his throat tore. Oiwa watched him carefully as she crushed his heart in her hand. When his legs buckled and he collapsed, she held him upright. "You wanted rest," she said calmly. "Here you go." And she released him. He fell at her feet. She turned away.